Ever been confused by the difference between but, although, and however? They all have similar meanings, but we use them in different contexts and also in different positions in the sentence. I'll tell you all about them in a second, but before we start, make sure you hit that subscribe button for some more great English videos every week. Alright guys, so the first thing to say about but, although, and however is that they all express contrast. This means that we use them to talk about two ideas that, in some way, go against each other. Take, for example, I love living in Sydney, and it's very expensive. You see, these two ideas are in contrast. I love Sydney, but normally we don't love what is very expensive. This would be a reason not to love Sydney, but still, I do. That's why there is a contrast. So, the easiest and most common way to join these two ideas together is with but, as in, I love living in Sydney, but it's very expensive. Some more examples could be, I love cheese, but it makes me feel sick. Or, I am very tired, but I'm going to watch a movie before bed. You see, in all these sentences, but goes in between the two contrasting ideas, and it follows a comma. So the structure is first idea, comma, but, second idea. Easy. Let's look at although now. Although has the same meaning as but we always use it at the beginning of the sentence. So, for example, using the same ideas as before, I could say, although it is very expensive, I love living in Sydney. Or, although it makes me feel sick, I love cheese. Or, although I am very tired, I am going to watch a movie before bed. Notice that this time I say although and the first idea together, then the comma, then the second idea. Something else that's important here is the intonation. The intonation always goes up in the middle of the sentence where the comma is, and then it falls back down. Listen carefully and repeat after me. Although it is very expensive, I love living in Sydney. Now, everything together. Although it is expensive, I love living in Sydney. Great. Last thing to note about although is that it is a bit more formal than but. We normally use it more in writing than in speaking, which is another reason why the position of that comma is important. Speaking of formal, informal, and writing, have you considered taking an English course to improve your skills across the board? Well, if you haven't, maybe it's time for you to start thinking about it. Come study with us at English Unlimited. We have English schools in the best cities in Australia and some of the best English teachers in the world. You'll have the best time of your life, lots of adventures in and outside the classroom, and improve your English along the way. Just click the link in the description below to find out more. And while you're there, don't forget to subscribe. Alright guys, last little word we'll look at today is however. Again, the meaning of however is exactly the same as but we use it in formal settings or also in informal speaking if our two contrasting ideas are quite long or detailed. Let me give you some examples to explain what I mean. Let's start with the formal settings. Imagine your boss asks you to stay at work for an extra 2 hours, but you can't because you have to go to the doctor's. In this case, you could say, I would like to stay, however, I have a doctor's appointment. See, in this case, you could also just say, I would like to stay, but I have a doctor's appointment. It's just that however sounds a little more formal. That's it. Now, let's look at an example when we need however in informal speaking, but with longer sentences. Let's go back to our example. I love Sydney, but it's very expensive. Imagine that this time I want to add some more information. For example, why I love Sydney. In this case, I might say something like this. I love Sydney because the beaches are amazing and they are just a short drive from the city. So I can go for a swim whenever I like it. See that at this stage, if I also wanted to say, but it is very expensive, my sentence would become too long. So it's better to start a new one by using however, like this. I love Sydney because the beaches are amazing and they are just a short drive away from the city, so I can go for a swim whenever I like it. However, it is also very expensive, so you need to work hard if you want to live there. See that there is a lot more information here. However, helps us keep the two contrasting parts separate and clearer. In this case, the structure is first idea, full stop, however, comma, and second idea. Cool. So just to make sure that you know everything about but, although, and however, let me give you a little quiz. I will show you some sentences and you will decide if they are correct or not. Ready? Let's go. Sentence number 1. However, I like cinemas. I never go because they are quite expensive. Is this sentence correct? Not correct. Remember, we said that however should be in between the two contrasting ideas. But in this case, it's at the beginning, which is normally the place of although. So we should say, although I like cinemas, I never go because they are quite expensive. All right, sentence number 2. I have emailed all customers to confirm their bookings for tomorrow. However, only 2 of them replied. Yes, this one is correct. In this case, however works just like but and is used in a formal setting. Cool. Now our third and last question. Although my school is far, I walk there every day. Is this sentence correct? So this sentence makes sense and the words are in the correct order, but the comma is in the wrong position. So my intonation was also off. We need to move the comma at the end of the first idea like this. Although my school is far, I walk there every day. See, it definitely sounds better now. Alright guys, that's it from me today. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe to our channel so you can get a lot more coming your way. My name is Holly, and I'll see you soon.